Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gastric Mindset Podcast. My name is Safi. I am 8 years post-op, a therapeutic practitioner with a focus on disordered eating, pre- and post-bariatric surgery. On this podcast, my aim is to vanish crappy fad dieting and unhelpful thinking to reclaim our mindset with a little rewiring so we can stop yo-yo dieting and get off the roller coaster once and for all. Welcome to season 2 with a new name and a new look. I have some great guests lined up who are experts in this area and will provide us with some great tips to build our own toolkit. I am passionate about making psychological support accessible for long-term success, both physically and emotionally. Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode of the Gastric Mindset Podcast. Today I am joined by Jennifer, who's from across the pond. Who's pond? Pond. I'm very excited to have you on, Jennifer. And Jennifer is a bariatric patient. She's a therapist, training to get her personal training certification. And Jennifer, what I usually do is allow the guests to tell us all about themselves. So who are you and welcome?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I've been so excited to join you today. And I am a weight loss patient. And I always say that you'll forever be a weight loss patient. If you have had weight loss surgery, you will always be a weight loss surgery patient, no matter how long it's been. So yes, I had gastric bypass surgery in January of 2019. It happened so quickly. It was like I had gotten down to almost 120 pounds lost in that first year and then maintained that since. So I'm going on about 5 years of just maintaining my weight loss at a stable, normal weight, which is really exciting. And so, I became a long distance runner in that time.
Wow.
And yeah, kind of that mindset switch where I've really decided moving into my background is in social work and mental health and policy and crisis work. And so it was really like, how can I fit my love of where I'm at right now with weight loss and fitness and nutrition into my life with social work and personal training as the next best option. So I started working through that, and I'll be finishing that personal training certificate soon, as well as finishing becoming a nutritional coach.
Wow, amazing. And I think we need so many, it's great to work with other nutritionists, dietitian, I've got nothing against them, but for somebody who has lived experience, I think has that added, that value. So Jennifer, that all sounds amazing. Let's go back. What's your history like with weight struggles and obesity?
I would say I really started struggling like late adolescent years and not necessarily extremely overweight, but definitely bigger than my peers. And that just kind of continued and it escalated. And I think going away to college and all of those things where you start you're not home anymore. And so having the ability to just access food whenever I want. And quite frankly, in college, I don't know that I made the best food choices anyways. And there wasn't always great choices there that were easily accessible either. So, I gained quite a bit of weight in college. And then I went through a lot of infertility struggles and miscarriage and loss trying to have our children. And I gained a lot of weight in that time. And so at my highest weight, I was actually pregnant with my youngest child. I have 2 children. They're 10 and 6. And have been pregnant 6 times. So I've gone through a lot doing that. And I got to my highest weight with my son at 310 pounds. After I had him, I started losing weight. And then I started really saying, like, I need to be around for my kids, for myself, but for them. I have a parent that passed away when I was 11. And so I think when we talk about the weight and the trauma and things like that and loss, there is a correlation there as well. But we can go on and on about that. But I do think I started trying to do it by myself and just it was kind of like you could lose the 20 pounds and gain back 25, lose 50, gain back 60 kind of
Mm,
thing. And I really recognize like my kids deserve better. I deserve better, but my kids do too. And I don't want them to grow up without a parent for that reason when I can control this.
mm,
So I started looking into weight loss surgery and then went through that process. I got down to 265 pounds during that process. So
mm,
just with, additional nutrition counseling, working with my surgeon and our program, the bariatric program I went through.
mm,
And so I went into surgery that day in January of 2019 at 265.
mm,
And currently, I like a weight range. So for me, I don't like to fixate on the numbers, and I
mm,
have a very healthy relationship with the scale, thankfully.
mm.
If I'm between like 140 and 150, I'm pretty happy there. So,
Amazing. And I think, I'm trying to do stones, but I don't think I could do it. But yeah, no, I think, what am I now? I have no idea. And I don't weigh myself, Jennifer. I haven't weighed myself for 2 years. I don't weigh myself. So I think for me, and it's crazy what kind of relationships we all have, so individual
yes,
with the scales. But you've lost a significant amount. That's what I know for sure.
yes,
Amazing. So yeah, and as you said, losing a parent, and as we know, the trauma. Nobody just gains weight just because they like to just to eat too much, or they just can't control themselves. So we always know there's always a reason. There's always a deeper reason why we turn to food. What would you say your relationship with food was like when you were younger?
I feel like it was better when I was younger. I think as I got older, it became definitely more of a coping thing or like a comfort thing for me. And so there was also a lot of binging, just like a lot of food at one period of time, and then maybe not eating for a while because I was busy or doing other things. A lot of drinking too in that
Mm,
time.
mm,
And so, but I also think like while I used food as a coping mechanism, it was also like when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're excited, when you're celebrating,
mhm, mhm,
to reward yourself with food or coffee or alcohol or all of those things. And it does add up. You don't think about it that way. And so I think that was my bigger issue, was just that correlation of everything I did was kind of surrounding that. Where
mm,
I'm going to eat, how I'm going to celebrate. I had a bad day, so I deserve this.
mhm,
Um, rather than finding really proper coping mechanisms for dealing with those things. Or um, I remember my first year with weight loss surgery, and I had non-food goals. I would buy myself things that were not food related in that first year. So one of the biggest things, like what was it, like a purse or a gym bag or a massage or something that was something I could reward myself with that was not food for that exact reason.
mm. Amazing. Yeah, no, definitely. I think I definitely reward myself. I still almost want to reward myself,
Yes.
or because I'm tired, or because I've had, I really have to talk myself out of. I deserve, I
Yes.
deserve a treat, or I've had a hard week, so I need. So yeah, definitely. So how exciting, when did you get into the running? I love that aspect.
Oh, yes. Running has been like the best part of this. I mean, the weight loss is great and being smaller is always fun and smaller clothes and shopping, but being able to run, I just love it. And I get a lot of messages that will ask me questions like, well, how'd you get into it? And I had Nolan, my youngest, in a stroller, and I
Mm.
had always wanted to run, but I physically couldn't. My body at 300 pounds could not just run. And not comfortably or the way that I would want
Mhm,
to.
mhm,
And so I said I'm going to start doing it, and I would run telephone pole to telephone pole with him in it, and then I'd walk to the next one. And I didn't know the thing about running. I was never an athletic child at all.
mhm,
Um, never played sports, nothing. And so I that's what I did. I'd run telephone pole to telephone pole. And then I realized, I'm much quicker not pushing him in a stroller. So I started going out by myself and doing it that way. And I just built up to that was a mile, and then adding the distance, and then it got fun trying to get quicker, and shave time off, and I did that for a while. I really just trying to train myself and learn how to be a runner. And I ran my first half marathon in 2020 during the pandemic.
Wow.
It went virtual, so I had to run it by myself, but and that was just the nature of life at that time.
Yeah.
And then I ran my first full marathon in 2021, and that was my 35th birthday. That's what I spent my birthday doing, was running that marathon.
Wow.
And now I've ran 5 marathons now, and I just love it. I do think when we talk about like transfer addiction with
Ah.
patients, I do think running is a little bit of that for me.
Mm, mm,
When I think, man, I've had a rough day, let me go run 3 miles. It
mm.
really is about that release, not so much about the workout for me.
But I wonder if we're always gonna have to find something, and as long as it does no harm,
But,
maybe that's okay. And so for me, I'm gonna go, and I suspect there's loads of people who are a bit like me who've had a really bad relationship with exercise, just the fear of or going into the gym and feeling really
yeah,
judged and horrible and needing to go back. I really would love to run and I really would love to exercise. And I'm getting to that age that I think, I'm in my 40s. I suspect things are going to change and I want to be stronger. Um,
yeah.
but I'm really fearful of do I have enough? Can I eat enough food? Do I have enough food? And I think a lot of it is my head trying to protect me. But well, you may faint. You don't eat enough to exercise. So, what would you say to somebody like me?
I think some of that is trial and error. That's absolutely true. And then the food choices that we're picking to fuel our bodies. Because as a long distance runner, that for me, that took a lot of time to really sort that out. And I'm still sorting that out, to be totally honest. And that took me having my own coach to sort some of that out.
Mm,
And so I do think that there are certain foods, and for us that have had weight loss surgery, there's foods that I can eat that you might not be able to, or
mm,
vice versa,
mm,
because our stomachs just do that sometimes. And
yeah.
I really think, especially fueling right before a workout, like graham crackers are a really great thing for me, but some people can't eat them. And so that has been really good. Gatorade I can drink, but a lot of other people can't drink regular Gatorade with the sugar in it. And so I think some of it is that trial and error and just and getting out there and trying to try it. Um,
Yeah.
and starting somewhere. Part of it is just getting started and starting slow. And if we can build up and get to that point where you're recognizing, I've been at the gym for an hour and I'm not feeling that great. I need to do something different then. Maybe a
Mm,
snack in between the workout, during the workout. A
mm.
granola bar, something like that might be the answer there. But I think part of it is just starting and then seeing how you feel.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have these conversations just to put it off. And now my current one at the moment is maybe I should be doing weights. Then I have this inner dialogue, but I'm not doing either. You know, so it's fear about, I suspect my brain is trying to protect me from feeling like the way I felt when I
Yeah.
when I did exercise for weight loss, which was
Yes.
never going to be the answer at my weight. Yeah.
I think it's just finding what you like to get in there and find something you really enjoy. And that makes it so much better.
Yeah. So how quickly did you get into exercise again after weight loss?
Well, thankfully, working with my bariatric program, they recommended that I did start before. I mean, I didn't have a certain amount to lose during my pre-op with that, but I was committed to it. And so I joined our gym here and I started working out. And I would do a lot of like work on the elliptical and some strength training, resistance training. And so I started then. And then it was probably about 4 to 6 weeks after gastric bypass surgery, I was back to the gym and just walking on the treadmill. That's all I really did for a while. And then I would say probably by the 3 month mark, I think I was back to normal working out. Um, as I
Wow.
was. Mhm.
But because you were okay, so you started working out. Did you always work out even when you were bigger?
I would try, but it was just so much harder. I mean, I
Yeah,
did try, and I did have a gym membership early on, and then canceled it, and then got it back, and
yeah,
um, so yeah, I did work out for almost the entire 6 months before weight loss surgery, and
yeah.
it lost. It was about 40 pounds, 40-ish pounds in that time.
Right, amazing. That's brilliant
Mhm.
because a lot of people before surgery, you know, I don't know anybody that's has actually started exercising before surgery. Maybe it's
Mhm.
an American thing. I don't know. But here we all kind of just we have to do that. I think it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever the liver shrinking diet is called.
Yes.
Um, but I like that idea, and I know now reading the research that you have to have some kind of movement, in order to sustain that weight loss. We know the
Oh,
tool is
yeah.
not the answer. It's not going to be a magic bullet. So we all need to develop some kind of strategy for long-term weight success. Otherwise, I don't know, Jennifer, you must know, but it's only about 20% of people who keep it off over 10 years. Have you
Yeah.
heard that statistic?
I have. It's very low. And it's sad too, because it's a lot to go through, to put your body through and mentally, physically, emotionally go through the process of weight loss surgery to gain back. And I can't even imagine that feeling to and how defeating that would feel. And long-term success is the goal. That's what we all want.
Yes.
But it really does take that mindset shift after that first year and a half, because you don't lose like that after that.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely don't. What would so for example, if somebody was really afraid to, and I know I've asked you this question, but really, really fearful of um exercising purely, and also because some people have loose skin, it manifests in so many different ways, right? Yeah, you could put us all in a line, and we'll all have very different experiences. But when you've got all these added factors, so you've got possibly body dysmorphia, you've got the skin, you've got all those struggles. What would you say to somebody who's still not happy, who still doesn't feel like they've arrived where they should be, but wants to exercise? What would you say to that person? I think it will be hard because they think, for example, when I see your Instagram, it looks like you've got great body, you're athletic, it looks great. And if I don't look like that, then I think, well, I can't be like Jennifer. I don't look like Jennifer, so I can't run. So that mindset shift, what does it take? How can we help somebody who just feels like it didn't work for me, I failed?
Yeah, I still feel like that.
Wow.
So, I still, and I've talked to my own coach about this. There are times I still walk in the gym and get anxious. Like someone is smaller than me, someone is running harder than me, someone is fitter than me. They brought water and I didn't, kind of just anything. I mean, it's a comparison
Yeah.
because it's human nature to compare ourselves to others. We can't stop, but it's also the thief of joy. And we've heard that multiple times.
Mm,
I think part of it is even for me, and I dealt with a lot of excess skin and I've had a lot of plastic surgery to deal with it. So I've been on that side of it too.
mm,
Um, and I have a story about that too. But I think if the one thing, maybe have a friend go with you
mm-hmm,
if that option is because it does help to have someone with you. And if you've got someone that's working out with you that you can talk to, that you feel more comfortable with, you're more focused on that than the other people there. So that would be the first thing, is if you can find someone to go with you. The second one would be start where you're not at a gym. Do it at home. There's a lot of resources online. There's a lot of even exercise workouts on YouTube that are free.
mm, mm,
Actually, my yoga I completely do from YouTube.
mm,
I do yoga almost every day and I pull it right from YouTube. And that's at home. So people aren't watching me because I'm not very flexible still, even if I do it every day.
mm,
And then the other part of that would be even starting if they wanted to start running, just running somewhere without people around. You don't have to run on a treadmill at the gym. I
Mhm.
was terrified to run on the treadmill at the gym for a long time because I didn't want to be loud. I didn't want my feet, and I didn't want to sound like I was, quite frankly, my thoughts in my head where I don't want to sound like an elephant on this treadmill and
Yeah.
people are going to judge me.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, I didn't run on the treadmill. And so I think those thoughts are still very real. This is 5 years later, and I'm still talking about it. And so I want people to know that while um, someone could look at me and feel like I belong in the gym, there are days I feel like I don't either. And
Yeah.
so you never really know what someone's feeling or going through. And I've even had people make comments to me at the gym. Well, you don't know what it feels like to be with being overweight. I understand that I look the way that I look today, but you don't know
Yeah.
someone's history.
Yeah.
And I go to a YMCA, so there's a lot of elderly people, and sometimes they just say what they want to say, and it's
Yes,
okay.
they do. Yeah, I don't know where my local one is actually. That's amazing. And I honestly said, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to. You can
No.
be somewhere by yourself,
Yeah.
and it's really, and that's why I think, for example, you were saying about the plastic surgery story. Please share with us. But I was thinking, actually, we could do all the things we have to do, but still very much feel the way. And that's why it's so important to do the mindset and recover from with yeah, because even if you look a certain way, you can still feel like you've always felt. So tell us, what
Yeah.
did you have a full bypass or mini bypass?
Full.
Wow.
Yes.
No,
Mhm.
I didn't know they still do it. Well, I'm sure they still do it. I thought it was people moving away from the full bypass. Ah,
Yeah, I don't know. They might be. I mean, 5 years ago, they
mm,
weren't.
mm.
Yeah.
So and then when did you have the plastics?
So I've had a couple different rounds of plastic surgeries. I do have a genetic blood clotting disorder, and so
Mm,
I've separated my surgeries. I opted to not have them all together. And I know
mhm,
some people do. So my first one, I had a lot of insecurities with my chest my whole life. And after weight loss, it was worse. And so that was the first one. I did a breast augmentation and lift in December of 2020.
mhm,
And after that, I decided then I was going to do my stomach, and so I did an abdominoplasty, a tummy tuck in November of 2021.
mhm.
And then right now, I'm just now recovering from my a second arm or a second breast lift and a brachioplasty. I did my arms just in October, just a
Wow,
few weeks ago, and I'm
wow.
done now.
Yeah,
So
but it's not easy choices, none of this is, and
oh, it's so hard. And then I get into the point where I'm not working out now, and then I get a little anxious about that because I'm sitting and recovering, and healing is hard. And so yeah, but that excess skin, and I know there are many people who are able to embrace that, and I love that for them. I just couldn't. I couldn't. And plastics was the right choice for me. But with running, I had said after my last plastic surgery with my tummy tuck that I wasn't going to have more on my thighs or my arms. And then I lost another 25 pounds just with training for marathons and running. And I got to the point where I was feeling very insecure about my arms when I would run. And I wouldn't wear like my sports bra and run without my arm sleeves on because I didn't want my arms just flapping.
mm,
And so it was kind of like how we talked about where someone might feel insecure walking into the gym and see me, but I would feel that way going to a race and seeing other runners. Like
mm,
I didn't belong
mm,
or didn't look like them, even though I
mm.
can run the same distance and maybe run faster. I don't look like a runner.
Yeah.
And so I ended up deciding to have my arms done, which now I'm happy about. But a couple of weeks ago, if you would have asked me, I would have said no. This one has been really hard. But But even the excess skin on my thighs, it's not enough for me to want a plastic
Mm,
surgery on my thighs, but I still won't wear shorts while I run. And
mm,
so I was doing this race with a group of friends this summer, and we were a team. There were 5 girls, and they're like, "Well, we have matching shirts and hats, and we'll wear black shorts." I was like, "No, no, no, I'm not wearing shorts." so, so I always wear leggings when I run, and so it was just things like that where they may not think about that, but I do.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I think our internet's playing up a little bit. It's got a long way to go, all the way to America. I think you're back now. You were just saying about the short situation. And in the big scheme of things, if Jennifer 5 years ago thought, that you'll be worried about wearing shorts at your size, I guess we will move it along, don't we? We'll always just find something
yeah,
else, move that goalpost for true happiness or how, yeah. So we're all work in
yeah,
progress, and
yeah,
that's what I always say. Well, fantastic. Totally celebrating
yeah,
you in it's a lot of big decisions you've made and a lot of, it's not easy things that you're doing.
yeah.
So Jennifer, tell us a bit about what kind of, so you're doing your certification for your personal training. So who do you want to work with? What's the plan? And with the nutrition aspect as well, what is the long-term plan?
Yes, I'm so excited about this. This has been on my heart for so long because there are not a lot of personal trainers who do understand weight loss patients
Mm-hmm.
and nutritional coaches who don't. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I found that as myself was looking for a coach or a nutritionist, it's very hard for them if they've not been through that. And I don't want to put everyone in a box. I understand that there are others out there who do get it
Mm-hmm.
and will research it to learn it, but I've lived through it. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that's what I want to do. My background in mental health and social work uh, understands that there's a need
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
for a personal trainer and a nutrition coach who has lived through weight loss surgery and
Mm-hmm.
been successful. And now 5 years later, and just wants to give back to our community too. So that's my goal. My goal is to work with bariatric patients. However, I do plan to also do some in person stuff. I plan to do some
Mm-hmm.
cycling training at my gym. And
Nice.
I also plan to develop a run group through my gym, kind of like a couch to 5K program, and
Wow.
offer that class through my gym.
Nice.
So it kind of comes full circle. I'll be able to give back to the gym and also our community. I will be doing some run coaching, but I can also do some personal training too. And it's been fun because I do have a lot of individuals who reach out to me who've had weight loss surgery and want to run. They want to.
Amazing. Yeah. I wish you lived closer. My
Yeah,
goodness.
me
I
too.
I would totally be up for that. I need somebody who does that in the UK. And that sounds really awesome. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's not, I don't think, and I've got nothing against anybody who's really into it and studying it and really wants to work in this field. But the lived experience, the aspect of that, I don't think anybody will truly understand what it feels like. The mental gymnastics that we have gone through, the guilt, the shame, the continuous, you know, I've done it, but I'm still struggling, and the secret feelings of have I failed yet again? So I
Yes.
think that all sounds awesome. I love the idea of the catch to 5K as well. It sounds really, really great. So a lot of
Yes.
this will be, where are you in the world? In America, where are you?
In the world, I live in Ohio in the United States.
Nice. So
So
anybody in
Central
Ohio?
Ohio. Mhm.
Ohio. I suspect it's very big, right? Because I know everything's big in America.
It's one of the it's a medium-sized state, yeah. But I'll be doing it online too. I'll be sharing it on my Instagram, so I'll be doing some online coaching too.
Ah, fantastic. And where
Mhm.
can Instagram is the best place to find you?
It is Jen runs two fit number two. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'll have the information below. Well, Jen, is there anything else that you would like to share with us? Because our experiences are just a tad bit different in the UK than it is in America. I think, for example, it seems like when you get a bit more comprehensive, I think, pre-ops than we do. A lot of us do a lot of, tourism. We go abroad and get it done because it's a lot cheaper.
Yes.
So, for example, so just quickly before I let you go, I like to always ask people, what was your what was aftercare like? What's your aftercare package like? How long does it last for?
I still see my bariatric program surgeon once a year.
Wow.
So I see them once a year, and I have a primary care physician that I just do follow up with for blood work and things like that. But then we also have a nutritionist that remains on site that I can reach out to and continue to talk to. So that's been good. Now it's optional. I don't know that everyone does that, but it's been a good resource for me, at least in post-op care.
Fantastic. Yeah, for some of us, we don't get any of that because we go abroad. And I know the equivalent to here, we go to Turkey. I went to Belgium, but I know in America, a lot of people go to Mexico. And
yes.
For some of I suspect it's the same thing. You go and have the operation, then you come home, and you're kind of left to your own devices.
Yes. And that's hard too, just to not have the support. So I always just say, make sure you find a good support system. There is no shame in that. So having someone to be there for you. And honestly, being online and Instagram is a great resource for that. There's a huge bariatric community online. And so I'd start there.
Definitely. And I think America is a bit ahead of us. The community is a lot bigger and a lot more active with loads of fun things. But I think we're running behind. We are getting there. And there is a lot of stuff online. Fantastic. So where can we find you? Finally, where can we find you? Where's the best place to reach Jen?
Yep. Instagram is always the best place. It's really the only social media I typically use right now. That may change in the future with the coaching and training business, but that'll all be on my Instagram too. So Jen Runs to Fit is the easiest place to reach me.
Fantastic. Well, Jennifer, thank you so, so much for coming and having a chat with me. You're going to continue to be inspiration for my my running career. So I'm going to start. I'm definitely going to do it, Jennifer. Keep an eye out.
Yes, I'm going to keep an eye out. I'll be checking in on you.
Oh, God. I do. And yes, I will keep you informed. Thank you so much. If anybody's got any questions about exercise, if you're interested in just dabble in, you don't have to, there's, baby steps. Baby steps will always be enough. Be kind to yourself and follow, channels like Jen's, and we can all conquer it together, everybody. All right, then, you take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I appreciate you for being here with me. I hope you got some value from this episode. If so, please give me a review. It will make me super happy and support others from our community to find the podcast. Share it with your Barry bestie. Connect with me on Instagram at Gastric Mindset. It'll be wonderful to hear from you.